Multiple choice. You ready? Is Thomas an atheist? A. B. Agnostic. C. Infidel. D. Skeptic. E. All of the above. F. None of the above. We're not gonna poll you tonight. I was thinking about this. In poor Thomas, this guy takes a beating for having given, being kind of skeptical, if you will. But I'm thinking about the lack of belief in the world today and how this is bantered around. And what can we learn from Thomas about this for today? But just in case you want to know what the difference is, here's a little glossary for you. An atheist is one who denies the existence of God or of divine beings. An agnostic is one who believes it is impossible to know anything about God or about the creation of the universe and refrains from commitment to any religious teachings. An infidel means an unbeliever, especially a non-believer in Islam and Christianity. A skeptic doubts and is critical of all accepted doctrines and creeds. So, that's a little... It'll be tested on the way out tonight. We'll get it there. A couple weeks ago, I found this article on rantlifestyle.com. Don't ask me how I got there. But it was the most famous atheists and agnostics. About 16 of them. And I said, there's a homily here. And today is the perfect weekend for this. And we are going to try some show and tell. So pray that this works, because we just put this together before Mass tonight. These are some of the people that we know and are prominent in society today who claim that they're in one of these categories. Now, we're not giving them honorable mention, and we don't want you to emulate them, but you gotta know there's a lot of influence of these kind of people in the world today. First, let's have the first one. Do you know him? Brad Pitt. These are one-liners from these folks. Although raised a Southern Baptist, Pitt considers himself 80% agnostic and 20% atheist. Next, Jack Nicholson. He stated in an interview, "I don't believe in God now," but he added that, "I can still work up an envy for someone who has faith. I can see how that could be a deeply soothing experience." Isn't that wonderful? Are you moved by that? Next. We'll tell your age if you know who that is, or don't. Joaquin Phoenix. "I don't believe in God. I don't believe in an afterlife. I don't believe in soul. I don't believe in anything. I think it's totally right for people to have their own beliefs if it makes them happy. But to me, it's a pretty preposterous idea." Steve Wozniak, one of the Apple founders, stated that he falls somewhere in the middle between atheism and agnosticism. His Polish ancestors must be turning in their graves. John Lennon. "Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try." You can sing that. Bruce Lee, martial arts superstar. Although he stated he was influenced by certain religions, he considered himself an atheist. It's not Lawrence Welk. David Gilmour, rock star of the band Pink Floyd, a very prominent atheist. Sweet-mouthed George Carlin. If you've ever heard one of his legendary comic stand-up performances, you would immediately know his stance on religion. Enough said. Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones frontman, is a well-renowned atheist. Now, didn't his girlfriend just commit suicide recently? Wasn't that in the news? I wonder how that trauma in his life would impact. That has to blow you away anyway. You wonder. Stephen Hawking, known as one of the smartest people in the world, Hawking has stated that he himself is an agnostic. Richard Dawkins is probably considered to be the poster boy for modern-day scientists who are atheists. We'll skip him, no. Comedian, host of Real Time, Bill Maher, is widely known for his criticism of religion and is a well-known atheist. Now, some of these people have Catholic roots, you know. Do not say, I went to Catholic school, therefore. Not necessarily. Jodie Foster, the Academy Award-winning actress, celebrates both Christmas and Hanukkah with her family, but is an atheist herself. Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook creator, although born into the Jewish faith, considers himself an atheist. Jesse Ventura, former WWF star and former Minnesota governor, is a very outspoken atheist. Angelina Jolie, the superstar actress, has been quoted saying, "There doesn't have to be a God for me. There's something in people that's spiritual. It's godlike." Thank you. Enough of them. I just thought it was interesting. I think we think this is not for real. Then when you start seeing this stuff, and it's wonderful that we can incorporate that into a homily now. When you look at this stuff, you see this is what we are grappling with in the culture. These are movers and shakers in the world. When they open their mouths, people stand up and listen. Where are we in our testimony to what we believe as believers? It's a question. Just a little information here. Since how many of these people exist in the world? According to some statistics, according to one 2007 estimate, atheists make up about 2.3% of the world's population, while a further 11.9% are non-religious. Now, these all have different kinds of meanings, of course. According to a 2012 global poll, 13% of the participants say they are atheists. According to another study, rates of self-reported atheism are among the highest in the Western nations, in varying degrees. The United States, 4%. Italy, 7%. Spain, 11%. Great Britain, 17%. Germany, 20%. And France, 32%. So, the moral of the story is what? What is Thomas? Compare the Thomas story with these pretty glib one-liners of these people. Thomas questioned. Now, we don't know the psychology of Thomas, although we can be, if you meditate on this, perhaps it's a function of our reflection and prayer. Like the other disciples, they were disillusioned. They were deeply hurt that the one who they had put their trust in died and was murdered as a criminal. They weren't expecting Easter. Nobody was expecting what would happen. When God reveals, he does not operate according to human intelligence and expectation, but is light years beyond it. Either you buy that or you don't. And I basically think if we don't believe this, then we make ourselves God-like. And that's the sin against the first commandment. I'm God and you're not. We need to have probably a lot of humbling moments in life to be shaken from our arrogance and sometimes from our confusion about where God is in life. Thomas stands before us as a wonderful example of a man who was not afraid to express his skepticism, and then between the beginning and the end of the story makes the most profound profession of faith in Christ that is recorded in the Gospels. So there's a complete change in him. That's what is for us. I think older generations were taught, never question your faith. Anybody get that in your catechism lessons? I think I got a dose of that. I think we don't talk that way today. Fundamentally, questions are signs of our desire to go deeper into what we believe. It's not like a bumper sticker I once saw. Jesus said it, I believe it, and that's it. That's nonsense. The faith that we have is always going to require us to go deeper in our lives. We should not be afraid of that. We don't have all the answers. And if God does not measure up to our standards, guess whose standards need to change? If Jesus is raised from the dead, what else is God supposed to do to prove to us that he is in charge of everything in the universe? If we eliminate Easter from our calendar, we have nothing to believe in. This is everything. If Jesus has secured the end, then everything prior to that is seen in a whole different light. Once you know the end of the story, you rethink everything in front of it. You know in some way that God will not be mocked, that evil will not win, and that the good will prevail. That's what we need to carry us day in and day out.